Alright, we're back on this linkert. So I bead blasted everything so it's nice and clean. This one's been all soldered up. There's the old repaired shaft that got soldered. And blasted and painted it silver. Our new foot bowl. Here's the new venturi. Here's our old black venturi after it's been cleaned up. And you can really see the difference in bore size there. And little baggies. So this is all the old parts, the new parts mixed in here. Just the new parts we're going to use probably. Here's the old nut cleaned up. Got all the rust and puke out of the inside of that and painted silver. Disc, the same thing, cleaned it up, painted it silver so it doesn't rust, steel. We got the original levers and all the original parts in here. Here's the original spray nozzle, all cleaned up. Even though we're not using that, cleaned up. Okay, here's our throttle shaft. We got to check to see if we're going to replace that or not. These are our needles and stuff. We cleaned all these up. So all of these parts here I blasted and cleaned. It looks pretty good. There's our new nozzle there. There's the old nozzle. Holes in there somewhere. There's the holes. See the difference in the hole pattern there. So there's our difference. So lots of parts and pieces. So leave that stuff in there for now. So this we're not using. What else were we not using? Probably not going to use the throttle disc either. Once again, I blasted that, cleaned it. So it's nice and clean though. Okay, so after you solder up your worn out bore there, you can clean this out by hand with a file. But the problem is you got to make sure you don't cut the bore bigger, which is hard to not do. If you're going to do it, you need a fine rat tail file, not rat tail, shit, half moon file, like this. Preferably not very sharp, but the problem is you're going back and forth over the distance, and more likely you're going to be opening up the bore. So not the best. If you come in there with a nice coarse file like this, which is made for cutting soft materials, like what you're dealing with, you have less chance of scarring the body because this doesn't cut the body too much, but it will cut the lead out pretty easy. But it's still going to cut the body a little bit. So the best way to do it is use a reamer. So this is an adjustable reamer, big one. Bought it on eBay. Not sure what size it is. Somewhere in there it should be marked somewhere what it is. Don't see any markings on it though. Anyway, the bore is 1 9/16, so you're looking for a 1 9/16 reamer or something close to it. And the only mark I see is that mark, and that's a scrape mark. But anyway, this one here is backed off all the way. These are adjustable here at the end. These are split reamers, so they're split down there so they expand. And I usually buy carbide tip reamers because that's what I prefer getting. That way they cut really good. This one here looks like a steel reamer. It's not a carbide. So it makes it easier to come by and cheaper. So when you're buying these, you want to make sure you're looking for one that has sharp teeth on it, preferably. The only thing that matters on a reamer is this cutting edge right here in the corner. This first leading edge right here. That corner needs to be sharp and crisp. If it is, it'll cut. Now you can see how this has a little bit of wear on it, but not too much. So this has an adjustable screw in it right here. It's just a tapered screw is all it is. See, it's a tapered wedge shape to it. So as you tighten this up, it'll expand the reamer out to what size you need. Okay, so this one here I'm just going to tell them it's 0. And you can take these and turn them down a lathe so that you can hold them in a regular drill if you want. Or these are big enough, this one just hold it by hand. So this is the reamer. I already stuck in the hole here to make sure it would fit. Once again, we don't want to be cutting the bore bigger. We only want to be cutting out that. So the easiest way to do this and not screw anything up is go all the way through the inside. I'm already cutting the inside where it's got unevenness in there. You can hear it. And just push it on through like this to get to where you want to be at. Now, a little bit of lubricant wouldn't hurt. We haven't got nothing in there yet. So the bore is uneven, not round. So even just that little cut, I open up the bore slightly on the inside because it wasn't round. Because this is round. And you have a little cutting oil to put in there. So cutting oil. Don't need much oil, but you just need something in there. A little bit of lubricant does wonders for this stuff. Okay, I'm going to do this again. Right to the end over here. Away a little bit so you see better. Cutting over the garbage can here, so there's a garbage can down there, see? The way it goes into the garbage. Okay, I'm now just starting to get to the part I want to cut. When it starts to get harder to turn like it is right now, you can hold this in a vise, like this right here, or you can go over the lathe. I'm going to cheat, I'm going to go over the lathe, because I have one. Don't have to use a lathe, it just makes it easier. I'm not going to cut with a lathe, I'm going to use a lathe as a holding fixture. This is straight shank, so you can just chuck on it. That. Just out of the way. You just hold this and cut it in there. I'm going to put mine in back gears. Low gear. So now it's in neutral. Put it in low gear. Turns real slow, see? That's just coast, that's power. Leave in coast mode. It's still got enough power to break your wrist, so at least you can stop it just by holding on to it. So, okay, now we're going to go ahead and push this inward. See how the lathe is, keeps locking the lathe up, so it's going to turn on. If something happens, just let go, is all you got to do. We're going so slow, it's not going to hurt anything. And after you're all done, you can see it's cut in there. Nice and even. Now we have not got the reamer to actually the size of the hole we need exactly, but it's close enough. I don't think I need to go much more. Well, we could make the reamer a little bit bigger, a thou or so more if we wanted to. It's pretty smooth cut already. Go ahead and wipe out the oil in here. So you can see how much of a lip is actually in here. I get it all cleaned out again. So it's pretty good finish in there. Now there's a little bit of a lip in there, not a lot, a little bit. So now if you want to play with this a little bit, we can. We just don't want to be opening up very much. Preferably none. So this is our Allen, so I can go just take more clearance out of it. take a look at it, see what we think again. Do I want to go more than that, or do I want to stop? I don't know if I went any bigger yet, but you can feel the lips in there a little bit from starter sticking up, so you know it's there. So we're trying not to open up the bore any. There's a couple thou buildup in there, but not much, so probably go just a little bit more. So I'm not sure how much I'm really opening that up, if any, right now. At some point it will make a difference. That's making a difference right there, I think. Getting harder to pull. As it came out, it went sideways and screwed up my finish a little bit, which I didn't want to do. So that's a prime candidate of making it worse. If I take a long L and stick it in there, I can turn it down a little bit. Alright, let's see what size island this is. It's going to be one of these. I'm going to go with this one. It's the one. It's not even a ratchet to turn it. Comes right out. Okay, now it's very little lip between the two surfaces now. There's a gouge mark where it goes around with a reamer dug in a little bit. It's a little bit smoother in there now. Right here is a big lip, which I don't like. So cut into it. So we can play with that a little bit if we want. So I'm going to go back in here and do it backwards. When you do it backwards, you're not twisting as it comes out, it pulls straight out. So it should give me a better finish. There you go. So let's take a little bit of heavy lip in there where I don't like it. We're getting rounder though. I think we're in a good spot to stop screwing with it, because at some point you're going to make it worse. You're cutting the material out of here, and this here where it's pinched. You got to be careful about that. So right now I think we're in a good spot to stop. It's good enough. Let's see, adjusting the screw back and forth helps a little bit to get what you need. Alright. Now next thing I got to figure out is what else work we got to do on this body before we call it done. So next thing is our throttle shaft. We can see there's a little bit of wear right here. You can feel it, but it ain't very much. They put this thing in recently, but you can see a wear mark and hear that. There is a lip right there, obviously. So here's our brand new one right here. Just don't have no lip in it. Okay, so let's see how loose these throttle bushings are. That's quite a bit of clearance in that throttle bushing there. See the clearance in it? Even with that new one, look how loose that thing is. See how loose it is? So that bushing is definitely shot. Pretty loose. Now before you go taking that out thinking it's no good, you better look to see what a new one is. It might not be any better. It won't be the first time I've taken bushings out and replaced. It's going to be just as bad after I put the new one in there. So just because you put new stuff doesn't make it better. Everything out of the bag. These nice super chrome plated bushings in here. I have no idea why you chrome plate a bushing, but they're under some impression they need to be done. Okay, so see how the new bushing is also loose? It's not as loose as this. That's definitely looser. Check the other one. So when you put these in, they're going to tighten up a little bit, but they should be pretty close to finished size when you're done, which is probably what they plan them to be. I'm not sure what the chrome plating is, except it's going to make it thicker. Other than that, not sure why they're doing that. Okay, we're going to do that. We'll be back in a minute.